Perhaps everyone won't agree with what I have to say.
Hey!
Wow.
A little out there. What's going on, everybody's movie heads? Once again.
Yes, we're back.
And we will be reviewing what?
Pet Sematary.
Pet Sematary.
2019.
Now, did you see the first Pet Sematary?
I actually did not see the first Pet Sematary. I read some of the book. The original novel by Stephen King came out in 1983, and then the movie was made after that in 1989. And so over the years I've seen bits and pieces of it, but it was always so scary because I was so young, you know what I mean? And so I just never went back to see it. So I know enough to correlate and adjust, but I don't I've never just watched it from beginning to end.
Well, I think I seen it a long time ago, but I've never been a super big horror fan until I met this one over here. So I don't remember it. I remember the kid was super creepy because he was the slick zombie or something like that, but that's pretty much all I kind of remember about it. But this one, 2019 Pet Sematary, pretty much follows the same formula as the last movie. You got this family that moved into this house in the middle of nowhere. I don't know why people keep doing that.
I know, right? They were staying in Boston, and then they ended up moving to Maine. In the story, it seemed like he may have gotten a job there or what.
That's what it was. See, I didn't even catch on to that in the movie. So they moved over there, and it happened to be a pet cemetery way back in the deep woods. They owned all this land, these acres, and a part of their property, it was a pet cemetery way back in the woods. So basically, this is super creepy anyway to have a pet cemetery on your property. But basically the kids try to adjust there. It's like they got one neighbor and stuff there, and then end up being creepiness happening afterwards when the cat dies, basically. And you can pretty much, I think the old story, you pretty much can see it in the trailer. The cat end up dying, and you end up coming back, and the cat is not quite the same. What the cat name is? Church, yeah.
So it pretty much follows the same script. There were two new writers for this, so it wasn't Stephen King's. I mean, they added their own little twist, but honestly, it didn't make much of a difference.
It seemed like the same properties, the same.
It was the same family. It was the same properties and formula and everything else that went along with it, but they just made a small little twist in it or whatever to be more relatable.
But I think the main, at the end of the day, the main part of the story is something magical on this land, on this property.
I don't call it magical. It's something evil and disturbing.
Well, evil can be evil magic.
They described it.
You know what I'm saying? But it's something that if you bury something in this pet cemetery, it will come back to life, but it won't be quite the same. It'll be a little creepy, to say the least. And that's one thing I can say about this movie. Going into this movie, I didn't expect a lot of horror movies been following kind of the same little jump scare type things, using the same stuff. So I was like, you know, we didn't even really care about going to see it, but I read a couple of reviews that said it was alright and it was dope, so we went to go check it out. So like, I didn't have no big expectations going to the movie, and once I saw it, it actually ended up being pretty good. Nothing great, nothing like the best scary movie ever, but it had some scares in it. It had a major creep factor, and it's unsettling in certain parts as well. So that's, you know, pretty much what you think about it going in, and what did you feel when coming out of the movie?
I didn't want to go see it. I wasn't impressed by the previews. I felt like I said, the bits and pieces that I did see from back in the day, it was just like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, you can almost see some of it and feel like you saw everything. So I was just like, I ain't really got to see it, but it was one of those moments where it was
You've seen it before. You've seen this type of movie before.
Exactly. So it was just one of the moments where it was like, okay, we went. You know, and I feel like I left the movie feeling the same way. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. As a matter of fact, at one point I had done dozed off. I was thinking about something.
I was slick in and out of this one too. It wasn't super boring, but it was like boring. You saw this exact movie before. Same kind of horror tropes, jump scares, stuff like that. Creepy walking in the quiet and you just waiting for something to jump out at you. Performances was good.
Jason Clarke. Jason Clarke. That's the main character. Yeah, he was actually really good. And it's something that's just eerily scary about him.
You said that when we was watching his eyes, and
it's something about his eyes. It's the same thing that I think I saw in, who was that other actor? I don't know. It's just something about him that automatically. Joaquin, the dude that's gonna be, what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, I was thinking about the spelling of his name, but it's something about him too that's just automatically creepy. I don't know what it is. So Jason Clarke has that about himself, and I felt like he just adds like extra scariness to it because it's just like, what is off about you? I don't know.
I happen to think that he was pretty good, but John Lithgow was like John Lithgow ever since like Harry and the Hendersons. That's what I grew up kind of seeing him in. But he's good in everything, whether he's the villain, whether he's the good guy, whether he's the creepy old man like he was in this movie. He's always pretty good in the movies. The little girl who played the daughter, she was pretty good. She was pretty good.
She actually was, and I'm so proud of these kids lately.
Yeah,
like these kids actually have been delivering a great performance.
Almost giving better performances than the adults in some of these movies.
And I think it's just because they're young and they fresh, and so you don't necessarily expect a lot of a kid, but when they show up, it's like, wow, you know, like I can see a future for you. I think her name was Jate Lawrence or something like that. I don't necessarily know how to pronounce the first name though.
The movie had a creepy music, and the biggest thing about this movie, I don't know if I liked it or disliked it, but it was so dark. The whole movie was just, the lighting was just, you had to like make sure you have your glasses on when you go see Pet Sematary because it's just dark the whole movie. The cat was creepy as hell, but other than that, it just wasn't a crazy good horror movie. It didn't bring nothing super different to the table.
So let's go ahead and rate it.
Let's go ahead and rate it. Speaking of ratings, man, speaking of our last review we did of Us, that rating we probably would take that down a notch, having time to think about it. It was still a good movie. It was still interesting, but I think we was rating it off of the fact of conversation factor after you see the movie and asking questions and diving deeper into it. But as far as the movie itself, that actually was entertaining and made us happy, I think, for me anyway, I would drop Us back down a notch to Good Watch on V.O.D.
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate on that. And do you agree with that?
I definitely agree with that. I was, after I thought about it a little bit more and kept going back and forth with myself, I started asking myself, like, why did you rate it as, I think I wanted it to work, like one of those situations.
Because Get Out was so good.
Yeah.
I feel like certain movies that we super hype about, because that was like number one on your list or close to it.
It was number one for me.
Movies like that, we have to let them marinate a little bit more because we don't want to be biased. Just like me stepping out of Star Wars movies, I have to let it marinate before I ever give my review. But let's go ahead and get your rating for the movie Pet Sematary.
Pet Sematary is definitely, it is a good watch on VOD. What's the one that's a little bit below that?
Network TV.
Yeah, Network TV. There we go. It was TV. For sure a Network TV movie.
Real quick, I'm gonna have to go ahead and chime in and say the same thing. Good watch on Network TV. If it's on, you ain't got nothing to do. You can check it out. I won't tell people to run to the movies to see it. If you ain't got nothing else to do and you want to get a little scare, a little creepy action, if you're a big horror movie fan, I say go ahead and go for it. If you're a horror movie fan, go ahead and check it out. But it's not nothing you have to. It's not a must see.
It ain't a must see.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
That's all I got for that.
That's all I got. So it's our review on the movie Pet Sematary 2019. It was meh. You feel me? Pretty much. Anyway, so that's our review. We appreciate y'all watching. Hit the thumbs up, like, all that good stuff. Subscribe to our channel, Instagram. All that stuff will be below in the description. Also, our ratings are below in the description. So if we give our ratings and you're not sure exactly where it's at on the scale, go ahead and check our ratings out in the description below.
And we probably need to check them out.
I know, we be forgetting. We get back on these movies more, we remember.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it though. We appreciate y'all for watching. Anything else?
That's all I got, Max. We'll be back in just a minute or just a second or a couple hours, maybe tomorrow. With Shazam. I can't even pronounce it.
We will be reviewing the movie Shazam. We out here.
Gone.